And joining us now is Bonita Pratt, founder of Pro-Life Apologetics. Bonita, welcome. It's so great to have you here.
Me.
Yes. Just start by telling us about your course and what you hope students take away from it.
Sure, absolutely. It's a course in Catholic theology focusing on pro-life apologetics, primarily for homeschooled students to take in their junior or senior year. And we focus a lot on the dignity of the preborn and how to prepare them for college when they get faced with a lot of tough questions from the pro-choice side, and how to best answer those with confidence and in a charitable sort of way.
How do you balance that? You know, because it can be obviously a sensitive subject and educational. How do you combine the two?
Absolutely. So I take a lot of time to answer their questions, and we move very slowly in the class. So if a student is getting a little bit apprehensive about any of the material, we can just sort of slow down to their pace and walk with them step by step. Also, I do a lot of the discussion verbally, so we avoid any graphic images or any kind of triggering material.
You seem to really be an expert on this. If you were giving a student some tips on how they could expertly argue the pro-life position, what would you tell them?
I would say really gauge your audience. Like, look at the subtle cues that the other person is giving off to you, and always just find common ground, work with what you can, and really be friendly so that at the end of it they feel like they have a friend in the pro-life movement.
What inspired you to do this?
Sure. There are actually like 2 points that were like the big inspiration points for me for the class. The first was in college. I started as my freshman year feeling like definitely a minority on campus, and that a lot of the other students were pro-choice, a lot of the teachers were that way as well. And then I realized that actually the pro-lifers were actually the silent majority, and a lot of them just didn't have the confidence to voice their opinions. So as I started testing things out and talking up more in class, I had a lot of students come up to me after and be like, I love what you said, I just didn't know how to articulate it in that way. And so I decided that students need to be taught in high school how to articulate the pro-life movement in a convincing way. And then when I was counseling, I spent a couple years as a pregnancy counselor, and I realized that in those tough situations, those women really cared what their friends thought. And so I decided that to teach high school is how to be the next group of friends for these women. We could reach these women in crisis pregnancies at an earlier stage.
Yes, absolutely. I love that this is geared towards homeschooling students. I was homeschooled myself. I'm not sure if all of our viewers know that, but tell us a little bit about your educational background from a young age. Were you homeschooled, and how do you think your education and your young life really formed you and inspired you to do what you're doing now?
Sure, yes, I was homeschooled. I was homeschooled all the way through high school, and
Me
I loved
too.
it.
Love it.
Yes, and so I attended the local Marches for Life, the national Marches for Life a few times. I also learned a lot from my parents. From a very young age, they set a very pro-life tone for the entire house. My dad works at a pro-life center. And so I had this really great example of how to live a pro-life life from the beginning. And then I went to St. Mary's College and spent a lot of my time running their pro-life club. And so really got a great viewpoint from that as well.
Yeah, that's so wonderful. We're watching the start of the march right now, and I'm curious, Bonita, what's your experience with March for Life?
Yes, I attended every year in college, and I loved it so much. And I think it's a really great opportunity to witness in a grand fashion and really take a public stand.
Amen. Could not agree more. Bonita Pratt, thank you so much for joining us today.
Thank you for having me.
Yes.
Thank you. A blessing. Thank you so much.